The moment I stepped onto the aircraft, the cool blast of cabin air hit me like a reset button after a miserable day of delays, gate changes, and people who walk like they're buffering. I just wanted silence, a window seat, and maybe, if the universe felt kind, my upgraded meal that I'd paid extra for. I reached my row and froze. Someone was already in my seat, and not just someone, a Karen. Neatly curled blonde bob, diamond-studded phone case, expression like she was silently judging everyone's life choices. She glanced at me, then at my boarding pass, then somehow still acted confused. "Oh. Was this supposed to be yours?" she asked, already sounding annoyed, as if I had trespassed into her personal section of the aircraft. "The window seat is better for me. I get motion sick." I forced a polite smile. "Right, and I paid for it, so, yeah." She exhaled hard, loud enough for 3 rows to hear, but moved. Fine, whatever. Seat reclaimed, crisis averted. Or so I thought. As we settled in, the flight attendant, a tall guy with an impossibly calm voice, came around confirming the pre-ordered meals. "And for seat 14A, your upgraded salmon entree." Karen's head snapped toward him like a velociraptor spotting lunch. "Oh yes, that's mine," she said, with the confidence of a woman who hasn't been told no in 20 years. The attendant smiled professionally. "Ma'am, the system shows it was purchased for the passenger in 14A. "That's me," she insisted, jabbing her manicured thumb toward my chest like we were in some kind of hostage negotiation. "He changed seats with me because I wasn't feeling well." I blinked. No, I didn't." She shot me a glare that could curdle milk. "You said you didn't mind." "I said I paid for it," I cut in. People were already turning around. Perfect. My worst nightmare. Mid-flight drama before takeoff. The attendant's calm didn't crack. "Ma'am, can I see your boarding pass, please?" Karen folded her arms. "Why? I already told you." "Because," he said gently, "airline policy requires verification when there's a conflict with a paid upgrade." Her jaw tightened. She rummaged through her enormous purse with theatrical frustration. Zippers, snaps, receipts. Everything except an actual boarding pass. "I know I have it," she muttered, loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is ridiculous." I tried not to smirk. A tiny bit of sarcasm leaked out anyway. "Yeah, totally ridiculous." And that's when Karen stopped digging, looked right at me, and said the words that told me this flight was about to become an episode of Airplane Court. "You know what? He should give it up. I'm older. I deserve the upgraded meal more." I leaned back, heartbeat picking up. This was far from over. The engines rumbled beneath us as the aircraft began pushing back from the gate. But somehow, the sound of 2 turbofans at full power wasn't nearly as loud as the irritation radiating off the woman beside me. Karen sat stiffly, arms folded so tightly they looked vacuum-sealed to her body. Every few seconds she would let out a dramatic sigh, one of those long, suffering ones meant to signal to the entire cabin that she was the victim in all of this. The flight attendant returned, still composed, still impossibly patient. "Ma'am, did you find your boarding pass?" Karen didn't answer. Instead, she gestured at him with the dismissive wave of a queen shooing away a peasant. "Look," she said sharply, "I told you the meal is mine. I need it. I have dietary restrictions." He nodded gently. "I understand. Which restrictions?" She froze. And then, "I don't eat low-quality proteins." He blinked once. "I'm sorry, I can't eat the regular meal," she insisted, voice rising. "My doctor said it could trigger my condition." I looked at her. "Your condition?" She shot me a venomous glare. "It's private." "Right. A deeply private medical condition that mysteriously vanished until an upgraded salmon entree appeared. Makes sense." The flight attendant kept that calm air Zen monk's envy. "Ma'am, the upgraded meal is tied to a purchase on the system. Unless there's an emergency medical requirement, I can't reassign it without proof." Karen scoffed. "Proof? What proof? Should I get my doctor on the phone? Because believe me, he will not be happy about this." "We're taxiing," he reminded her gently. "You'll need your phone in airplane mode." She threw her hands up theatrically. "Oh, perfect. So now you're putting my health at risk. Do you hear this?" She called out to no one in particular. Unbelievable. Passengers pretended not to look, which only made their stolen glances more obvious. I could hear whispers. A couple across the aisle hid smiles behind their hands. "Ma'am," the attendant tried again, "I can get you a regular chicken or vegetarian meal. Both are very good." "I paid for better," she snapped. I turned my head toward her slowly. No, I said calmly. I paid for better. Her face flushed red, anger mixed with embarrassment, like she'd been publicly checkmated. Why are you being so selfish? She hissed. Why are you trying to take something that isn't yours? I replied. She opened her mouth to fire back, but before she could, the PA system clicked on. Cabin crew, prepare for takeoff. The flight attendant gently leaned in. We'll resolve this once we're in the air. Karen's jaw clenched, eyes narrowing like this was a personal war. But something told me she wasn't done. Not even close. The moment we leveled off and the seatbelt signs pinged off, Karen sprang into action like she'd been waiting for that exact chime to launch her next attack. She mashed her call button. Not tapped, not pressed, mashed. The kind of dramatic repeated jabbing that said, I am summoning management. The flight attendant, same calm, tall, unshakable guy, approached with a professional smile that had survived far worse than this. How can I help you, ma'am? Karen straightened in her seat, lifting her chin like she was presenting a legal case. I want to file a complaint. She jabbed a finger at me, so close I felt the air move. Is refusing to give me the upgraded meal the airline owes me. He sighed softly. Ma'am, as I explained earlier. No! She cut him off. Listen, I am a Platinum Elite Plus member and I deserve better treatment. She punctuated each word with a sharp flick of her hand, like she was conducting an angry orchestra. The attendant paused. Platinum. Elite Plus. Yes, she declared. He took out his device. What's your rewards number? I can check. Her face twitched, just for half a second, but it was enough. I don't have it on me. No problem, he said, tapping his screen. I can look you up by name. Her twitch returned. No, that's not necessary. He raised an eyebrow, still polite. Ma'am, if you're a Platinum Elite Plus member, the system will verify it. She hesitated. Not long, but long enough for everyone watching to feel the shift. Fine, she said, trying to sound confident. It's under Karen, W. Williams. She said the last name like she was testing how it sounded for the first time. The attendant typed, waited, squinted. Ma'am, we don't have any passenger under that name on this flight. Karen's voice shot up an octave. Well, maybe it's under my husband's account. Great, the attendant replied, unfazed. What's his name? She froze again. Passengers were now openly watching. Front seats turned, back seats leaned. The couple across the aisle pretended to read, but were clearly eating this drama like popcorn. Karen puffed up defensively. Why is everyone acting like I'm lying? I'm a valued customer. The attendant's voice gentled, but the firmness underneath sharpened just enough. Ma'am, I understand you're upset, but this isn't about status. The upgraded meal belongs to the passenger who purchased it. He nodded toward me. And that passenger is him. A tiny ripple of applause broke from somewhere behind us. Quick, awkward, but real. The kind that happens when people have been silently rooting for you. Karen whipped around. Who clapped? Who did that? No one answered, naturally. She turned back to me, eyes blazing. You're causing trouble for no reason. Is a single meal this important to you? I met her glare calmly. You're the one trying to take it. She leaned in closer. You're going to regret embarrassing me like this. The tone, the look, the quiet threat behind the words. That's when I realized something. This wasn't about food anymore. Karen had decided it was a war, and she wasn't fighting fair. The cabin lights dimmed as the crew prepared for meal service. Trays clinked, carts rolled, and the warm smell of reheated dinner drifted through the aisle. Under any normal circumstance, it would have felt cozy, but not with Karen beside me. Simmering like she was waiting for the perfect moment to strike, she sat forward in her seat, watching every move the crew made. When the flight attendant from earlier approached with the meal cart, she straightened her posture like a soldier preparing for battle. There it is, she muttered under her breath. Finally, he parked the cart beside our row, glancing between the two of us. His expression remained calm, but his eyes held that subtle, knowing look, as if he'd already predicted exactly how this was about to go. All right, he said cheerfully. Upgraded salmon entree for seat 14A. Karen instantly held out her hands. He didn't give it to her. He placed it gently on my tray table. As per the purchase record, he said. Karen snapped. Excuse me. What is wrong with this airline? I'm older. I have dietary restrictions. I have status. And he gets the upgraded meal just because he clicked a button. Paid, I corrected softly. I paid for the button. A few passengers chuckled. Karen ignored them. She leaned forward. voice rising. You're violating my rights as a customer. I want your supervisor. The flight attendant nodded politely. Sure. Give me one moment. He stepped away. But instead of returning with a supervisor, he came back with something else, a printed sheet, a manifest printout. He placed it in front of Karen like evidence in a courtroom. Ma'am, he said, voice steady. This is the seating and meal purchase record for this row. It shows that the upgraded meal was purchased by the passenger in 14A, him. You, he pointed gently at her seat number, are in 14B with no upgrades. Karen glared at the page like she could rewrite it with sheer force of will. This is fake, he blinked. Ma'am, this prints directly from the aircraft computer. It's wrong, she insisted. That's when he calmly delivered the line that ended her entire crusade. Ma'am, the only way the system could be wrong is if you boarded with someone else's ticket. The entire row went silent. Karen's mouth dropped open, but nothing came out. No excuses, no elite status claims, no invented medical emergencies. Just the sound of her brain scrambling for an exit strategy that didn't exist. The attendant angled his head. Would you like me to verify your boarding pass again? She clutched her purse to her chest like it was a shield. No, that won't be necessary. A woman across the aisle whispered, Oh my God. She tried to seat hop. Another added, she wanted the meal and the seat. Karen snapped toward them. Mind your own business. But it was over. Her shoulders slumped. Her anger deflated. Her entire performance collapsed under the weight of one printed sheet of truth. The attendant smiled softly and turned to me. Enjoy your meal, sir. And for the first time all flight, Karen was completely silent. She stabbed angrily at her standard chicken entree like it had personally wronged her. I cut into my salmon, perfectly cooked, perfectly seasoned, and took the first bite slowly, pettily, deliberately. When she glanced over, I met her eyes, held up my fork and said, Worth every penny. She looked away, and just like that, the sky felt peaceful again. Don't forget to subscribe to Karen's Edition for more dramatic stories. Hit the like button and tell us, which moment impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments.